For most kids, a birthday is the best day of the year. Cake, presents, friends, what's not to love? But for me, it was the opposite. My birthday was a dark cloud that followed me around all year long, a day I dreaded more than any other. It wasn't always this way. I have blurry, happy memories of my early birthdays. A bright yellow cake, my dad lifting me up to blow out the candles, the sound of my mom's laughter. But all that changed on my 7th birthday. That day started out perfectly. The sun was shining, and our small apartment was filled with the smell of my mom baking my favorite chocolate cake. My friends were coming over for a party. I remember wearing a new superhero t-shirt, feeling invincible. My dad was setting up a small treasure hunt in our backyard. Everything was exactly as it should be. The doorbell rang, and my friends started to arrive, their hands full of brightly wrapped presents. We played games, ate way too much candy, and I felt like the king of the world. Then it happened. My dad, who had been the life of the party, suddenly clutched his chest. His face went pale, and he collapsed. The laughter stopped. The music died. My mom's scream is a sound that has never left me. I remember standing there, frozen, a piece of cake halfway to my mouth, watching the paramedics rush in. The flashing red and blue lights replaced the cheerful party decorations. That day, my dad had a massive heart attack. And just like that, the best day of my life became the absolute worst. He survived, but things were never the same. He was weaker, and a shadow of worrying always seemed to hang over our family. My birthday, the anniversary of that terrible day, became a stark reminder of what we almost lost. We never celebrated it again. No cake, no presents, no parties. My mom would just hug me tight in the morning, her eyes filled with a sadness she tried to hide. My dad would give me a weak smile and pat my shoulder, but the unspoken memory was always there between us. As I grew older, my friends would ask what I wanted for my birthday. I'd just shrug and say I didn't care. They'd invite me out, but I'd always make an excuse. How could I celebrate? How could I be happy on a day that was so deeply connected to pain and fear? For me, birthdays weren't about getting older. They were about remembering the day my world almost fell apart. I started to resent the day, to hate the forced cheerfulness that came with it. I just wanted it to be over as quickly as possible. This pattern continued through my teenage years. I became an expert at avoiding my own birthday. I'd turn off my phone, stay in my room, and just wait for the clock to strike midnight. My parents, seeing my pain, stopped trying to make it a special day. They respected my wish to be left alone, but I could see the hurt in their eyes. They had lost the joy of celebrating their son, all because of that one traumatic event. I was trapped in a cycle of grief, and I was dragging them down with me. The turning point came a few years ago, on the morning of my 21st birthday. I woke up with the usual feeling of dread, but this time, something was different. My mom came into my room, not with a sad hug, but with an old photo album. She sat on the edge of my bed and opened it to a picture of my 6th birthday. There I was, a gap-toothed kid with a party hat, beaming with pure, unadulterated joy. My dad was kneeling beside me, his arm around my shoulder, a huge grin on his face. "He loved your birthdays so much," my mom said softly. "He loved seeing you happy. That's all he ever wanted." She then told me something I never knew. Every year, on my birthday, my dad would privately donate to the local children's hospital. It was his way of turning a day of personal pain into a day of hope for others. He never told me because he didn't want to pressure me. He was quietly rewriting the narrative of that day, all on his own. Her words hit me like a tidal wave. All these years, I had been so focused on my own pain, on the trauma of that day. I never stopped to think about what it meant for my parents. I had been punishing myself and them for something that was ultimately a story of survival, not just loss. My dad was still here. We had been given more time together, and that was the greatest gift of all. I had been so busy mourning the past that I was missing the present. I looked at my mom, tears streaming down my face, and for the first time in 14 years, I said, I think I'd like a piece of cake today. The smile that lit up her face was worth more than any present. We went to the kitchen, and together, we baked a simple chocolate cake. It wasn't fancy, but it was perfect. Later that day, my dad came home from work. When he saw the cake on the counter, he just stopped and stared. I walked over to him and gave him a hug, a real tight hug. "Happy my birthday, Dad," I whispered. He held me close, and I could feel years of unspoken grief finally melting away. That day, we didn't have a party. It was just the three of us. We sat around the table, ate cake, and we talked. We talked about my 7th birthday, not just the scary parts, but the happy moments before everything went wrong. We talked about my dad's recovery, his strength, and his quiet tradition of giving back. We cried a little, but we also laughed a lot. It was like a dam had broken, and all the emotions we had suppressed for so long came rushing out in a cleansing flood. It wasn't an instant fix. Healing is a process, not a destination. The following year, I still felt a twinge of anxiety as my birthday approached. But instead of hiding, I decided to embrace my dad's tradition. I spent the day volunteering at the children's hospital he had been donating to. Seeing the smiles on those kids' faces, knowing I was making a small difference, gave the day a brand new meaning. It was no longer about my trauma. It was about gratitude, service, and hope. Now, my birthday is a day I actually look forward to. It's a day of quiet reflection and active gratitude. It's a celebration of life, of second chances, and of family. I still bake a chocolate cake with my mom, my dad, and I spend the day doing something to help others. We've reclaimed the day, not by erasing the past, but by building a new, more meaningful future on top of it. If you're struggling with a day that holds painful memories, please know that you're not alone. It's okay to feel that pain, but it's also possible to find a new path forward. Sometimes, healing isn't about forgetting, it's about redefining. It's about finding a way to honor your past while creating a brighter present. You have the power to rewrite your story. If you're finding it hard to cope, talking to a mental health professional can provide you with the tools and support you need to navigate your journey. There is always hope for healing. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If it resonated with you in any way, I'd be grateful if you'd like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world. Take care.